Hajime no Ippo is an anime about boxing by Studio Madhouse. It is very great and in my eyes the greatest long-running anime production. If you're watching this video, I expect you to be familiar with the story. I will try my best to explain why I think this episode is very well made thanks to the animators, directors and everybody involved in the creation of this story. Episode 13 is about Ippo figuring out who his next opponent is, training for said opponent, and the audience getting to see the opponent from their point of view. Let's get started. The episode starts with a shot of the ramen shop and a great illustration of a bowl of ramen, which already speaks volumes of the quality of the show. This bowl of ramen. It looks delicious. As the boys are talking about their experience with the Roki King Championship, which Ippo will participate in soon. This sets the stage for the next arc for us by getting different descriptions of the tournament from different viewpoints. Talented Takamura, of course, did not have any difficulties with it, while Aoki and Kimura get hilariously pushed down, as per usual, as they both suffered humiliating defeats at the tourney. This tells the audience a variety of things. First, it tells us that even for decent boxers like Aoki, the tourney could still be a tough time, so Ippo should be careful. It also tells us that Takamura, who Ippo looks up to, thought that it was a cakewalk, so Ippo should do his best to not end up like Aoki and aim for the image of Takamura. Finally, it tells us, the audience, to have fun with this episode, as it starts off with a great comedy that we can expect from Hajime no Ippo. Also, from here it is already clear that this episode will have lots of shots with multiple characters in it, interacting with each other. Moving the attention from one character in a shot to another helps you, the viewer, keep engaging with this episode. It also helps for comedic effect, such as this shot where Takamura kicks Kimura for how Takamura is actually not the one who is treating Ippo, but he's acting like he is, with Ippo completely oblivious of what's going on, as Takamura is clearly dividing the space between Ippo and Kimura. After the episode title interlude, the scene starts with a shot of the boxing gym with vicious punching noises, immediately followed up by Ippo fiercely sparring with Aoki, overwhelming the poor man. This is followed by a horizontal panning shot of the gym, with lots of trainees looking impressed by Ippo, as well as Takamura smirking at the sight of Ippo's enthusiasm. By using a horizontal panning shot, it feels like the entire gym is watching Ippo, since it seems like a long, big horizontal room is viewing Ippo's smaller ring, which is only shown in a single 3x4 shot. We then see Aoki absolutely tired, telling Kimura that Ippo is crazy excited, explicitly telling the viewer that Ippo is really in his groove today, which was already obvious from the scene where we saw Ippo sparring with Aoki, with Kimura stating that Ippo is doing very well at infighting, establishing Ippo's fighting style. Aoki's facial expression telling the entire story at one glance. Also notice how the director moves your attention from left to right, as Aoki, who is talking, moves from the ring to outside of the frame, and your eyes settle on Kimura, who finishes talking. These experienced boxers complimenting Ippo shows off Ippo's progress, as does this upward spanning shot, making Ippo seem like he's absolutely the man today. When Kamogawa and Yagi come in telling Ippo they got info about the tourney, the boys hurdle around the tournament bracket, with a smaller Ippo eagerly trying to look at it, being blocked by the bigger man. The cuteness of Ippo outside of the ring is important to this show, as it contrasts with how he is inside of the ring, as is it to contrast with the men around him, such as Takamura and his other opponents, who are these big burly macho men. By having Ippo hop around the poster and wriggling his head in between the guys to see the poster, it is effectively shown to us that yes, Ippo is cute. We then get another excellent shot, as mentioned beforehand, of multiple characters in a single shot, interacting with each other, with a full Kamogawa gym squad in one shot, discussing how Ippo is going to fight someone with a scary sounding ring name Jason, which is not only scarier but also way cooler than Mokonochi. To get Ippo up on his opponent's level, the gang tries to come up with a cool nickname for Ippo. This conversation leads to some nice facial expressions from the gang. Again, something constantly happening on screen keeps you engaged, even if it's just the characters changing their facial expressions. And with a shot like this, with multiple characters changing their facial expressions, you're surely very engaged. The shot changes when Takamura comes up with the ring name Big Mara Ippo, putting him, as the leader he is, in a separate shot, while having Ippo and Aoki Kimura in a separate shot with Ippo at the forefront, which leads to being able to show Aoki and Kimura laughing in the background at how naive Ippo is, not knowing what a Big Mara is. This naivety from Ippo also leads to added cuteness points for the character. When Ippo asks about what the Big Mara is, we first get a zoom in on Takamura's face, gloating as how his joke has paid off, and then making a non-verbal expression to show exactly what a big Mara is, with an elephant sound in the background, to convey how big the size of the Mara exactly is. The whole squad is laughing now, with Ippo walking away disappointedly. But then Takamura seemingly wants to console Ippo, only for another face zoom in to happen with another dick joke. More laughter occurs in this shot with the jokers in the background laughing their ass off and Ippo being angry in the foreground. Ippo is about to leave when Fuji the reporter comes in with a scoop on Jason. Then in the next scene, it is revealed that Jason Ozuma is actually a foreign boxer who came to Japan as a soldier. This scene is more of the usual. Great shots of multiple characters interacting with each other, as well as great facial expressions, especially on Ippo, who is the focus on this scene, as he is shocked at how he needs to face such a tough person in the ring. The scene then cuts to army jet fighters flying through the air, showing we are near an army base with a boxing gym close by, which is not as well off as Kamogawa's gym, as its exterior is made of wood and not concrete like Ippo's gym. There's also some jet fighters flying near the gym to make sure we know where we are, a boxing gym near an army base. This is where we meet Jason Ozuma, as he knocks out someone so hard it makes him give up in an instant. This establishes Ozuma's brute strength. He is kept in the shadows as his coach cheers him on. We then get a close-up on Ozuma's eyes. It makes him more human. Then we switch to his point of view, where we see blood from his sparring partner on his glove. But the dirty glove isn't what he cares about, as it is swiped away from his vision to focus on the sparring partner to see if he's okay. When the partner tells him he is fine, we see a big smile on Ozuma's face, who then thanks his partner for the practice. To really hammer it in for the viewer, we got Ozuma's coach and the sparring partner discuss how strong Ozuma is and how much they hope he can succeed in his boxing career, while Ozuma is having a laugh with the other gym mates. More use of having multiple characters in a single shot is shown here, and great facial expressions with thick lines, both of which we have seen in this episode and we will keep seeing in this episode. In only about a minute's time, we know everything we need to know about Ozuma. He trains in a poor gym near his military base, and while he is strong, he's a gentle giant, caring about the people he encounters in the ring. The directing and storytelling is super efficient, through the use of contrast in how Ippo sees Ozuma compared to how he actually is, and this being portrayed through the directing as well. Having Ozuma seem menacing at first, with his knockout punch and his shadow's eyes, but then his bloodied glove is put aside to see if his sparring partner is fine. From this scene, we can tell that this is not the invincible soldier we could describe at Kamogawa Gym. He's actually more similar to Ippo, a hardened fighter with a soft heart. To understand Ozuma himself better, we get a scene where he talked with the coach's wife, someone who he has started to see as a mother figure. Mama is fixing one of the sandbags that Ozuma's strength broke while training. Ozuma tells his mama that he should be the one to stitch it back together, since he's the one who broke it. But the mother refuses, saying her husband would get mad at her if Ozuma got himself hurt doing this. At the sight of his mother's damaged hand from stitching, Ozuma makes it clear to his mother and the audience that he wants the box to earn money so he can fix this gym and help his family there. The mother, looking with an ever happy face normally, only changes her expression and tone of voice when Ozuma tells her this, showing that she wants Ozuma to be devoted to boxing for himself and not for others. But Ozuma is insistent, and with his dream to fix his gym and help his family, he will leave for Tokyo, where he will face Makunochi. I wanted to take note of these characters real quick, because they are generic, but still have a distinguishing trait for us to remember for when they show up later during the match, like the teeth, the flat nose, and the pompadour haircut. With everyone at Ozuma's home cheering him on, we cut back to Kamogawa Gym. Here we see Aoki and Kimura discussing what Ippo must be going through, since he is preparing to face a boxer from Boxing Kingdom, USA, and Ippo is mentally preparing for his match. While he is mentally prepared to face Ozuma, this is immediately contrasted in comedic fashion by Ippo amazingly punching the punching bag rather hard, but when he gets distracted by his dream to face Miyata in the tournament, he gets hit in the face hard. Amazing expressions once again. Now we get the amazing mid-roll, and only 10 minutes in, we've established that there's a Rookie King tournament that's coming. Ippo will be able to face Miyata if he wins this. Ippo needs to face a foreign opponent, and we get to see what he is like. We get to see Ozuma's relationship with his gym mates, his fighting style, and what his reasons are for boxing. Also tons of humor and great animations spread throughout the episode, which keeps us engaged for the first half of this episode. And we still got the second half to go. We catch up again with Ozuma, who is now training at the gym in Tokyo, and he gets challenged by another rookie tourney contender at the gym, who proceeds to beat the pulp out of him, while Ozuma is trying to tell him to wear his headgear, once again showing that Ozuma is a gentle giant. He won't spar with you unless you're wearing your headgear. Once Ozuma gets knocked in the head, he remembers his family, who told him to do his best, causing him to accept that in this city he should not hold himself back and go all out all the time, hitting the opponent with a hook that causes him to go unconscious. This scene shows off Ozuma's strength once more, as well as showing how serious he is when it comes to winning a match, setting him up as a powerful opponent for Ippo. The two hard punches in the spar use a technique used often in the series, where an especially powerful punch is shown by a still frame, conveying extreme movement, usually with a zoom out from the fist and the camera twisting as well, which works to great effect in showing off power in an efficient way, so they don't have to animate a whole punching animation. This knockout hook is used as a segue to cut back to Kamigawa Gym, where the news has reached that someone has withdrawn from the Rookie King tournament due to Ippo's opponent knocking him out with a single hook. From this, the coach figures out that Ozuma's best punch must be a hook, most effective against an infighter like Ippo, and so the coach comes up with a plan for Ippo to be able to counter it. This involves Takamura using hooks on Ippo, which he must dodge by ducking in time. This is the first time sparring with Takamura, and thus Ippo's greatest challenge so far. This greatly amuses Takamura, as you can see from his face, as he treats this as a game where he gets to win, all the time. Now we will speed up a bit since I want to get to my favorite part at the end of the episode. When Ippo understands this could be his last match at the tournament if he doesn't learn how to dodge hooks, he accepts that he has to learn how to do it so he can face Miyata in the finals. One of the greatest aspects of Ippo's character is shown in the following montage, when we see him not only train under his coach's eye at the gym, he also trains on his own, day in and day out. Even all beaten up, Ippo still does his best after gym hours. Time passing is made clear in this montage by constantly going from daytime at the gym to the sun setting at eve, while Ippo is at the playground location to train his ducking motions. This helps to show that Ippo is really committing himself to boxing throughout the entire day. Ippo gets completely knocked out by Takamura eventually, but when he wakes up, he steps right back into the ring, even surprising Takamura. This is the ultimate immediate example of Ippo's willingness to train so he can beat Ozuma and face Miyata in the finals. If he's knocked down, he'll get right back up to train, and this willingness always carries over to the ring. As a special version of the opening theme starts playing in the background, we go back to Ozuma in a scene where he's jogging in the park, where he laments that he didn't have any family before. But now he has found a place to call home at the gym. The excellent shadow boxing animation and the fire raging in the foreground show that Ozuma is determined to win this match for his family. This tells us that the opponent is training just as hard as Ippo, something that is often seen in the series and really makes you both root and fear for the opponent, as they are not just some slouch, they put in the effort as well. From here, Ippo's training montage continues, where we start with him telling us that the training is going well, which is also visible from his face, which is much less swollen than earlier during the montage. Now we get the greatest shot of the episode. Aoki bad-mouthing Takamura behind his back. I've already talked about facial expressions and having multiple characters in a shot, both in the foreground and background, before, so you should be able to tell why this is such an excellent shot. As is the shot after it, showing Kimura being beaten up as well for no reason, in the foreground, while Aoki's in the background, being beaten up by Takamura. Great animation. Amazing. Engagement. Next scene, Ippo finally succeeds in his ducking practice outside. At least it seems like it, until he starts bleeding from his head. But him going through the motions without bonking as hard as earlier means we are getting close to the end. The final scene of Ippo training outside starts with the evening sun and ends with the moon in the night sky, showing that we are now finishing up the training. The immediate next scene we get thrown into the middle of a spar, with Ippo finally being able to duck under Takamura's hook. Ippo surprised, Takamura worried, and Aoki and Kimura elated that Takamura will finally get what he deserves. Look at their evil faces. Ippo goes for the punch, his eyes lighting up, but in a quick amazing animation, Takamura elbows Ippo into the ground to avoid wounding his pride. Very in character for him to do so. The episode ends as the coach is glad Ippo manages to do the duck just in time for the match, making us excited for the next episode where Ippo will use his duck to hopefully beat Ozuma's hook. Also, the voice acting is amazing in this episode, bro. Because Aoki's there, Kimura's there. Great voice acting. Ippo got praised voice acting. Ozuma even got great voice acting. He got that kind of American type of Japanese accent. And Kamigawa has the greatest voice of all time. So, quick recap about what I liked about this episode. Introduction to the new character was very smoothly well done. The opponent, we got to learn about him in a really quick manner and about his movements, about his personality, about his family. We got to see Ippo training both day in, day out, both inside the gym, outside the gym. Great music playing in the background, as per usual with Hajime no Ippo, which got that great soundtrack. And we got lots of comedy, lots of shots with multiple characters inside, constantly keeping you engaged by having all of them talk and all of them move, making your eyes move across the screen the entire time. That's just great anime, man. That's just great anime. This is great. All in all, as a season finale or an end of core finale episode, it is very strong. When it aired, people had to wait 2 weeks for the next episode to air because of New Year's. I think this episode should have filled the audience with enough excitement and anticipation for them to not forget Hajime no Ippo when the next episode came out. The addition of playing the opening theme song under the final montage of the episode, showing Ippo and Ozuma trading, was really nice to build up anticipation as well for the next episode. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. Bye bye.